Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to episode 10 of Chess Mistakes of an A Player. We're still in that period towards the end where I was playing badly. In fact, in this group of 11 games, I lost 6 games in a row, which is, I think, unheard of. I don't know of another instance in my career where I lost 6 slow games in a row. And then the other 5 games, there was 2 wins and 3 draws. So overall, a dismal performance. And just some unaccountable blunders. So I will go over some of the simple blunders first. Let's see. This is, I have the black pieces here. And if we back up a move or two. My opponent just played bishop e5, kicking my queen. White's better here. He's kind of gained a lot of space and pushed my pieces back. And he decides to take off this strong bishop here. One of my... a few good pieces. And so here's the question for you. How do you take back? Now, before you answer that question, take a look at all the pieces that are hanging. Make sure you notice what white is attacking before you answer that question. Okay, I am going to give the answer away. I took back with the knight. And that's the wrong answer because I left my knight hanging. And I'm just down a piece. So that's an unaccountable blunder. Probably the best way to take back is to take back with the h-pawn, but because it keeps these pawns together and defends the knight. You could also take back with the f-pawn, but it leaves this pawn isolated. But in any case, the game would continue, whereas just losing a piece for nothing puts an abrupt end to that game. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Okay, I was black in this one too. Let's go down. We're near the end of this one. Right here. Okay, I actually have a slight advantage here in that I have more passed pawns than my opponent, but well, it's a little bit tricky, and his passed pawn is very dangerous. So I played the move knight to e8, attacking his rook and forcing it to move. The idea was I want to force his rook to move, grab this pawn, let him have my pawn if necessary, and then I would try and win with the outside pass pawn. So I still have winning chances in this position, even with best play. Now my opponent plays a horrible blunder here. He goes c7, and I don't know if you should, if you can even guess the mistake I made here. Obviously, I should just take the rook. Notice his pawn is not queening, so there's no. My rook is guarding that square, and after I take his rook, the knight's guarding that square as well. So there's no doubt about it. I should just take the rook and win the game. And instead, in this position, I played knight takes c7. So, like I said, this is completely unaccountable, and we went on to draw in a few moves. He trades and grabs the pawn here, and there's just no way to win this position. So we agreed to a draw here. I don't know. Maybe I could have tried for a win, but I was so discouraged after that horrible blunder. Okay, let's look at some more interesting examples, some tactics here. Let's see. I have the white pieces in this one, so let's change it around. Let's get up to the position here. Let's see, I think it's right around here. Yeah, so this is a complicated position. I think it's actually about even once again. I have the knight here attacking his bishop, and I'm trying to round up another pawn here, maybe simplify things, and also have the ideas of pushing my pawn through. There's a passed pawn over here, and he has a potential passed pawn over here. So with good play, let's back up a little bit. Yeah, my last move here was knight to f3, attacking his bishop. And then he played the move rook takes c4, and this move is a mistake. So can you spot the tactic that I should have played here? Go ahead and pause the video if you don't see it right away. It's an interesting tactic, but not too hard to find, I think, if you look for it. Knowing there's a tactic there, you will see it. Yeah, it's kind of cute. I'm giving the answer away now. It is knight to e5 check. And it forks the king and the rook. And the key to it is that my rook is pinning his bishop, so he can't take my knight. There's another way to play this, which is also quite good. You could also take with the rook. And then, well, if he takes with the rook, you take back with the knight and win with the outside passed pawn. And if he takes with the pawn to try and preserve his material, then you have the fork. So that also wins. But I think just the straightforward, right here, the straightforward knight fork, taking advantage of the pin, is the simplest way to win this game. So anyway, let's see. One more simple tactic I missed. Also with the white pieces here. Let's see. Oh, this was an interesting endgame tactic and kind of a typical kind of thing you can miss in the endgame. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, right here. Okay, let's back up. Okay, I have the white pieces, and this is an example of where I blunder, and my opponent actually didn't take advantage of it, but he could have. So let's see. He played f6 here, pushing his pawns forward. This position, let's see, the material is even. Yeah, so I think maybe with good play this should be a draw. But, well, it's all about the activity of the knights on going after the pawns. And so I played the kind of natural move, knight a7, going after this pawn. And this move loses. I should play something like knight d6. That's a much safer square for the knight. So can you spot the problem with knight to a7? Okay, pause the video. This is an interesting kind of endgame tactic. It's worth looking at if you haven't figured it out. I'm going to give the answer away now. The problem with this move is that the knight only has a few squares to go to. It's hitting this pawn, which is protected by the knight. It's also looking, it can escape through this b4 square, but the pawn covers it. So the only way back out of a7 is this square c8. And so black here can play the move king to d7, which he didn't play, but this completely traps the knight, and my knight has no moves. So a nice little endgame tactic. And I can't get over there to save it in time, and there's no way for me to stop this simple plan of black marching his king over and just grabbing that knight. So that should be a win for black at that point. Okay, cute game. Let's go on. Let's switch topics away from endgames, and let's take a look at the opening. I don't get so many opening mistakes. And most openings I know pretty well, and I'm not, my mistakes usually occur early in the middle game or in the heart of the middle game when things get complicated, but I usually do well enough in the openings to get out. Not that I play the openings and get the maximum amount out of them, but I manage to survive the openings most of the time. So this was a French defense. Let's see, my opponent played e4. I have the black pieces. I play e6. Now the French defense, I added that relatively recently to my repertoire, so I don't know it as well. And he plays kind of an offbeat line with knight f3. Go d5, which is the main move. He goes knight c3. So the two knights variation against the French. And the knights here are putting a lot of pressure on the center already. And I play the move c5, which is kind of a typical pawn structure you see in the French. You want to allow the knight to come out to c6 and hold on to things. Well, it's just a typical development, and then you try and go after the center eventually if white tries to build up a big center. But he's not really trying to build up a big center here, and this move c5 is a bit of a waste of time here. And white already has got some pressure against my pawn center, so it's kind of the inverse of the usual strategy that I'm used to in the French defense, where I'm trying to put pressure on his center. He's actually got quick pressure on my center with these moves, knight to c3 and pawn to e4. So let's back up. If you want to pause and with that as a clue, maybe you can find the best move here. I'm going to, give this answer away. The best move here is knight to f6, just supporting that center. And there are other moves that could be played there too, but that would be playing in the typical French style. And if he pushes the pawn forward, the knight goes to d7, and then you can play c5 and get a typical French structure. But the immediate c5 is just not good. It's just kind of ignoring what's going on in the center here. And black can take advantage of this, or white can take advantage of black's misplay. So why don't you see if you can spot the move for white in this position. Okay, I'm giving the answer away. The best move for white here is bishop to b5 check, which my opponent played. So I think this is a position he was familiar with, or maybe he could just calculate that much. But basically this is a kind of a disruptive check. He's trying to interfere with the defense of my center here. And let's see, if I block with the knight, I think he can actually just grab a pawn. I tried blocking with the bishop to d7. He exchanged. I take back with the queen to keep my eye on the center. And he exchanged pawns. Let's see, I have to take back with a pawn because his knight is guarding that square. And now he just castles. But in this position, actually, white is much better. My king is exposed on the e-file, and it's not so simple for me to get castled and get out of trouble. My pieces on the king side are undeveloped. In fact, my only developed piece is the queen in this position, and my pieces are going to be pinned and tied up. So white really has a significant edge in this position, and so this opening mistake really comes down to this c5 move. I really need to play knight f6 in this position here. So it's interesting how quickly things can go downhill, and how easy it is for one side or the other to grab an advantage in the opening when you play imprecisely. Okay, one more mistake I wanted to take a look at. This is a mistake that's more strategic in nature, and let's go to the game. I had the black pieces again, and let's just go right up to the position where it occurred, or here. Let's see, let's back up the move. So I have the black pieces. I'm starting to feel pretty good about my position. My opponent played kind of a London system here, and the dark squared bishops have been traded, and my queen has come forward. So I no longer have to worry about his London system bishop there. Now I'm starting to feel like I can gain a little bit of space in the center, and I play a very typical move, e5, threatening to play e4, forking his pieces. And there's a very natural response from white here, which he plays, which is the move e4. So just simply blocking my idea of pushing the pawn forward, in a very typical idea. And it's not blocking his bishop in for too long, because he'll be able to exchange off. So there's a position which is okay for both sides. Nothing big going on here. Probably still a slight edge to white, in fact. So no big advantage to black. Notice I still have one piece I haven't developed. So in this position, I make kind of a strategic mistake. Now, no immediate tactical refutation, but I get into a bit of trouble here. Let's see. So if you want to pause the video here and just think about this position and think about what you would play as black here. Okay, there's a lot of good moves here for black, or reasonable moves. Most of them involve developing the bishop. Bishop to e6 is good. Bishop to g4 is good. Also, rook over to d8 is another suggestion from the chess engine. So if you came up with any of those moves, those are fine. The move I played is the move d4. And I had some good ideas with this move. For one thing, it keeps this pawn blocked, and so it makes it a little more difficult to liberate this bishop, or so I thought. But right here, the problem with this move is I'm basically overextending. I'm pushing too hard in the center, and I haven't completed my development. So that's kind of the strategic mistake, is I'm getting myself overextended in the center. And after this move, White plays really well. He plays a series of energetic forcing moves, and in just a few moves, I'm in fairly big trouble. So if you want to kind of predict, take a look at this position and predict how White would play from here and how I get into a bit of trouble. Okay, pause the video if you want to think about that some more. I'm going to go ahead and give the answer away. Played nicely here. He starts with knight c4, kicking my queen, getting his knight to a good square and just gaining a tempo. The queen dropped back to e7. I didn't want to block my bishop, so I went over here. And then he takes the d-pawn, and I took back with the pawn. I wanted to keep more force on the board. I think the same kind of thing would have happened if I had taken with the knight, because he could have just taken back. In retrospect, maybe it would have been better for me to drop my queen all the way back to d8 and stay looking at the pawn, because with this maneuver, he frees up his e-pawn, and this pawn is isolated. It's also a passed pawn, so I wasn't so worried at this point, because this can potentially be a strength in the endgame. But we're a long way away from the endgame. And then, okay, so he exchanges, and then he pushes his e-pawn forward, and now he's opened up the diagonal for the bishop with tempo, forcing my knight back, and now my knight is blocking my bishop, and then his queen comes forward, and he's threatening checkmate. So just 3 or 4 simple moves, very straightforward. Bringing the knight forward, exchanging the pawn, pushing his pawn forward. Yeah, it's 4 moves. The knight, the exchange, the push, and then the queen up. And he has quite a strong position. So there's one more quiz I guess we can do. There's kind of 2 different moves that would defend this position. It would be nice if I could play a move like knight f6 to attack the queen, take advantage of the pin, but his queen's defended there, so there is no pin. That just loses. Anyway, let's erase that arrow and this arrow. So the 2 moves that attempt to defend this position for black are the move f5, with the idea that if he takes en passant, then I'll take with the knight. That's one way of defending. Or g6. And so if you want to think about this position some more, maybe you can figure out the best way to defend for black. Okay, it turns out, I found this a little bit paradoxical, but it turns out that g6 is the best way to defend. It sets up a solid light squared triangle here. He doesn't have a dark squared bishop. It does create dark squared weaknesses, so I am compromising my position by playing g6. But it'll take him a while to maneuver his pieces in to take advantage of that, and it'll give me some time to complete my development. And white still has a big edge, but it's playable, and maybe I can hold it. Instead, I played the move f5. He took en passant. I took back, and then he played a move that really surprised me, but turns out to be good. He took the queens off, and in this position, well, at least I can develop my bishop, and I do have a passed pawn, and we are closer to the endgame. But it just turns out in this position, his pieces are a lot more active than mine, and my pawn is securely blockaded. So he builds up quite an edge here, just playing normal moves, bringing his pieces forward. Let's see, I can go forward a few moves, so maybe you can get a flavor for this. He played his knight to e5, bringing it in and looking at these sensitive light squares around my king. He's also got this idea of bishop here, check, and knight here. So he's already swarming in. I played bishop e6 to try and block this diagonal. Then he gets his rook in the game, rook f to e1. Let's see, I bring my rook in, rook a to e8. I wanted to kind of defend over here. It just goes a3, and let's see, I went knight f5 here, trying to activate my pieces. Cancel that knight f5. Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah, I was trying to defend everything. And he actually has a winning move here with knight to g5, just continuing to bring his pieces in. He didn't play this move, but well, the idea is to get rid of this knight on the diagonal and get his bishop over here. Get rid of this bishop on the diagonal and get his bishop onto the diagonal. And Yeah, there's actually just too many threats. His pieces are kind of swarming around my king, and my pieces are still not well coordinated, and I'm still far away from mobilizing my isolated pawn. I mean, this is a long-term trump card, but I have to just survive the onslaught first. And so, let's see. This game ended in a draw, actually, but White, with good play, could actually just go on to win this position. So, and it all stems, if we go back, it all stems from that first move where I pushed on with d5, overextending the center, and then followed up that mistake with this f5 move, which allowed the queen trade and allowed his minor pieces to get active. So an interesting sequence there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to be back with one more. Next one will be episode 11. It'll be the last one with games, and then I'll do episode 12, where I do kind of a summary and roundup and lessons learned. So stay tuned for that. I will see you then. Bye.